Hello and welcome to warrenthornton.com. We're going to get straight into the show. If you are joining us on X, you're joining us on Rumble, you're joining us on Kick, you're joining us on Twitch, you're joining us, shall we say, on all or any other platforms. We've got some breaking news for you in a second. The first hour of the show is free. By all means, enjoy. If you like what we do, the show is normally longer than 2 hours. But if you like what we do, pop across to warrenthornton.com or get us on Patreon at The Real Truth 502. Come and join the growing community. It is the price of a coffee. And for that, for an entire month, you get 6 new shows every single day of the week, apart from Saturdays. Sometimes we have special lives as well. We also do a subscriber show in the morning where you can come and have as much say as you like. And also, there are many, many other articles and many, many other appearances that we go on. So hope you come and join us. So let's get into this straight away, because we were looking at doing some other things to start with. But of course, we cannot do that because there has been some fun and games. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring up the map and we're going to talk as we bring up the map, because some of the things that have gone on in the last few hours are very, very relevant to the Ukraine war. And if you are just joining us, welcome. So let's get into it. There is a major problem with Kupiansk. And of course, many, many people are going very, very, shall we say, spotty or crazy over the things that have happened. So let's have a little look at the Kupiansk area, which, of course, as you can see, in this area here, which is on the way to Kharkiv and the Kharkiv Oblast. Let's have a little look at what's happening in Kupiansk. Now, the yellow areas you can see are where the Russians are actually inside those areas, and they're actually inside Kupiansk as we speak, well inside. Now, the situation there is deteriorating very, very rapidly indeed. And of course, Sersky, obviously Zelensky's number 2, has put out a communique. Now, we've heard from 2 people who are on the Ukrainian side. They're actually Ukrainians. And we've heard from 2 people right on the front line there that men are being taken from all the other 5 fronts to be taken to Kupiansk. And Sersky has issued the orders that Kupiansk must be held at all costs. Now, the general idea is to take 1 in 10 from all the other areas. So that means taking them not only from these areas around here, obviously around this area, which is going to cause a problem. And there have been Russian gains there over the last day or so. But it also means taking them from areas like Konstantinivka, those areas there. And of course, when we're talking about Pokrovsk, in these areas where they're already having a struggle to hold the city. Now, the problem is that we've got all sorts of stuff going on in the Zaporizhia region as well. As you can see, they're making gains here on the Dnipropetrovsk and Zaporizhia border. And of course, the Russian gains are starting there as well. And of course, we've got this area up here around Ivanivka, where they're cutting off some of the roads there. Now, where we have a major problem here is the actual commanders are going pretty crazy about the fact that they are taking 1 in 10 men from all the other fronts, from units on the other fronts, to make that a 10,000 strong force to go in and join the estimated 10,000 strong force that is already trying to hold on to Kupiansk. Apparently, there are not desertions, I should say, but people fleeing. Ukrainian soldiers have been fleeing to areas along various, shall we say, roads, and some going across. These roads are temporarily closed, as you can see here. These have been closed by literally the Russians having firepower over the roads, and they have been fleeing to areas such as Sadova there and the well-named Stinker here. Now, these have been literally trying to regroup and then being forced back in. There are literally, how can I put this? The groups are literally gathering in a place called Baranova, which is here, just down here, and they are being then pushed up into that area to come and support the help in Kupiansk. Now, there is, even though the Russians are in these areas here, there are reports as well of them being in the market and around the museum area with pockets of fighters. And literally, as the situation got so bad, the commanders were actually complaining about the incompetence of the main commanders of not seeing this coming. And of course, they've started fleeing along various avenues where they can to try and get out of there. Some have even been fleeing in the wrong direction, would you believe? And of course, they're just running into the Russians. Now, this is, as I say, this is breaking, basically. This is people who are commanders right on the front line. We are talking to at least two people who are right on the front line with the Ukrainian forces. And they say that this is absolutely happening and that there is a major problem in Kupiansk as we speak, and that soldiers are literally fleeing out of Kupiansk. Mark Breckle.
The pro-Russians are going to love this. They've been wanting this for years. Like I've been saying on the show since 2014, they've really been wanting Kupiansk, Sloviansk and Kramatorsk. It's traditionally pro-Russian. And now they'll take half of the oblast of Kharkiv, and then eventually they'll start moving on to Kharkiv, which is one of you is what is part of your Novorossiya.
Well, it is quite staggering that suddenly we've had this what you might call not a quick collapse, but it is the commanders people that we're talking to saying this is a huge failure of the people who are there to hold on to those areas. So it's looking very, very bad, Mark.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, you know what I said about Pokrovsk? At Kupiansk, I don't think it's got anything massively mining like Pokrovsk, and so it is a worry that they're sending everything to Kupiansk. Yeah, I think the only way I can think of it, like I said, is traditionally, because Pokrovsk has got the mines. There's more money in Pokrovsk in that area.
There is, but they're having their own struggles in Pokrovsk because it is. But the fact that Kupiansk has literally started folding. I mean, we're talking about soldiers on the front line dropping back into the far south of the city, and some even fleeing beyond that. And the reason we're getting these reports is, first of all, we're getting them from the commanders who are literally having their men stripped. There has been an order from Syrskyi that has gone out to Ukrainian commanders to start letting them have men for the relief. And that is his words, the relief of Kupiansk. And of course, as we're talking about this, Andy wanted a word as well. Andy?
Yeah, how's you saying about this going on? Is it going to collapse really quickly if it goes bad?
Yeah, well, the problem that we have here, of course, if the commanders are starting to panic, and there are people how can I put this? There are people in the know that are saying that there has been a criminal mismanagement of the defense of Kupiansk, in that there is all sorts of disorganization, all sorts of upset and everything else. The American term would be zips in the wire. So what you're talking about here, Andy, is you're talking about around about the marketplace, and indeed the museum, and indeed other areas over here, as you can see from this map. We're talking about these people that have got as far as Rivens, which is here. So we're talking about Russians actually in these areas doing fighting at the moment. If we zoom back out, you can see just how deep pockets of Russians have got in there. This has caused a mass panic, and this has caused soldiers to start backing away from the positions that they are in. So at the moment, from everything that we know, Kupiansk is trying to be held, but there has been an absolute disaster in the centre of the city. Sean Murphy.
The problem is, of course, Warren, if those major roads are all under Russian firepower, the Ukrainians are going to have a problem getting their relief troops in to reinforce Kupiansk.
Yes, absolutely. And those relief troops have to get in from somewhere. Now, if you are just joining us, just to let you know that Kupiansk is starting to, shall we say, have a major problem with soldiers fleeing the city because, of course, we've had soldiers inside the various perimeters that shouldn't be there. And there is literally panic amongst the commanders. Mark Breck.
Well, again, really, they should have known anyway, because Kupiansk is near the Oxel River. And yes. You've been reporting about the Oxel River for weeks and weeks weeks. So I'm not Napoleon, but obviously I should have sent a letter to Ukraine.
Yeah, there are people that are actually fleeing. There are Ukrainians who are actually fleeing along the Oskol River, which is incredible, isn't it? When you think about it, because they're in boats or whatever, and they're actually fleeing along the Oskol River, and that is of a huge concern, or should be. So they're making their sort of way out of Kupiansk as best they can, not to get slaughtered. And of course, we're just going to show you where the Oskol River is. Here's the Oskol River, and of course, as they've come under pressure here, they've started fleeing along that river in all sorts of boats and everything else. There are reports of boats being taken out with, dinghies with outboard motors that are being taken out with 8-10 soldiers in each one that are literally being bombarded as they're making their way out. So it seems as though for the moment there is widespread panic going on in Kupiansk, and the Ukrainians have got to get hold of that situation very, very quickly because I think it's going to take possibly the best thing that could happen is the fact that the Russians don't realize that the Ukrainians are panicking. But the fact that commanders are now being asked to give up 1 in 10 of their men from the 5 other fronts is very, very telling indeed. And of course, we're trying to get more information, and we're getting more and more coming in as we go along. Here we go. We're just letting various things come through here. They're saying that the situation around the Oskol River, Mark Breckle, the situation around the Oskol River is deteriorating with every passing hour.
Oh, that's good. I get my flags out. But the thing is, though, that they've either go south down into Sloviansk, or they can't go to Lugansk because obviously that's pro-Russian now. So the only place really, otherwise, try and get to Kharkiv because that's still under Ukrainian. But they haven't a lot of choices at the moment.
Well, trouble is as well is trying to get around that round the sides there, because obviously with I always get this wrong. Sobolivka, you're looking at the roads there under firepower as well. So that is an absolute runway going through there. And of course, as we know, they've already got firepower over this road here, which is temporarily closed, as they always say, when they can't get along it. So they are still able to go along this road, but they are not cut off in any way, shape or form. So they literally do have, should we say, pretty much firepower over those roads, which is quite terrible. I can't imagine what the loss of life is at the moment with the panic that's going on there. But we will get, as we get more throughout the night, we will try and bring you that. But this is literally, this has come from Sersky, who has literally told commanders that they must surrender every 1 in 10 of their men that are on that, shall we say, in those areas. Mark Breckle.
Evacuation has just begun in 18 settlements in the Dnipro Cross region as well. So they're not having a good day.
There we go. So what is happening here is quite clear, that because they're taking men from those areas, they're now getting overwhelmed, or the commanders don't feel that they can hold those areas, and they are then dropping back. If it is to be believed what is going on in those areas as well, and we'll get the map up again and have another look, because this is a very important moment. The Russians will be over the moon. Where were you talking about, Mark? We'll get Mark back up here. You were talking about Dnipropetrovsk, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the evacuation of 18 settlements in the Dnipropetrovsk region.
Yeah.
So
this is
they're not mentioning the sounds, Warren, yet. This has come out in Russian. They're just saying 18 settlements. So
yeah,
there's panicking.
I would imagine we're talking about places like Berezova, and we're also talking places up here near Ivanivka, I would imagine. This is the Dnipro area here. This is Dnipropetrovsk, Zaporizhia here, obviously, and then of course we go into Lugansk as well. There is literally Lugansk is falling more and more as we speak as well. We'll get a little bit on that as well. But for now, we'll take the map off. But just to let you know that those things are currently happening at the moment. And it will be interesting to see where they actually go with this from here, because it's looking very, very bad for the Ukrainians, as we say at the moment in Kupiansk. When Sersky starts grabbing people to go elsewhere, then we've got a problem. Okay, while we're on the subject of course, everything that's going on at the moment, we will have a little look at some of the stuff that's going on in Ukraine while we're on it. So first of all, we're going to have a little look at Bakhmut. Have a look at this. This is Bakhmut now that the city has literally been sort of quiet for a while. And of course, it was decimated. It looked like the back end of the moon. Let's have a little look at it now. Just to let you know while you are watching this, that obviously the grass is beginning to grow back, and it did look like a moonscape at one stage. There was absolutely nothing left. Over 120,000 Ukrainian soldiers died trying to defend this. 15,000 of course, the special Wagner battalions died trying to take this as well. And of course, as you can see, there is a little bit going on, but most of it is still absolutely devastated. But as you can see, grass and the odd tree is starting to take over again. The wildlife is starting to take over, which is quite crazy. And that, Andy.
Yeah, I just can't even visualize people collecting 120,000 bodies.
Yes, it is incredible, isn't it? I mean, when you think,
absolutely, yeah.
I mean, the battle for Bakhmut went on for 8 months. The Russians suffered. The casualties were roughly about the same to start with, and then it very quickly became clear that the old thing of 3 attackers to 1 defender was no longer relevant, because we were starting to see the bodies absolutely pile up in Bakhmut, and we're talking 8-1 at one point in the battle for Bakhmut. By the end of the battle for Bakhmut, the Ukrainians were losing 8-1. And of course, when you then look at that, and the rough figures were around about 120,000 compared to 15,000, that's dead. We're not talking about wounded, we're talking dead. So you sort of look at the 15,000 that Wagner lost trying to take the city, 120,000 that Ukraine lost. That 8-1 looks about right. And of course, many people are giving it lots and lots of, or there is lots and lots of grief being spoken already, about the numbers are not right or anything else. The numbers are right. Our guys are absolutely spot on with the numbers. And people, each time we put out the numbers, Andy, literally within about 3 months, 2 to 3 months, people start to catch up on the figures that we had. And if anybody, just in case anybody wants to know, there are 2 million dead Ukrainians. There are 700,000 injured. They're saying that there's 400,000 that have deserted. That's not true. It's about 200,000. And there are another 100,000 in captivity. Andy.
Yeah, it's just the logistics of these amazing people who go in and mop up afterwards and clear the bodies out.
Yes, our guys are fantastic. I mean, they do get moved back most of the time by the troops into an area, but then again, they go through that god-awful job of not only moving the bodies, but identifying them and trying to identify them by what remains of them. So the people who do this job, and I looked after people like this for a number of years, you know, when we went into war-torn areas, not only are they brilliant at the job, but they're also fantastic. And they've been at it for so many years. They've been at it for decades. They're fantastic at knowing what the figures are going to be. Many of the wars where people have gone, no, they haven't lost that much. It's absolute nonsense. Well, the figures that they came out with have then proven to be true and pretty damn accurate to within a few thousand. Mark Breck.
The thing is, though, this is what Western governments don't understand. It's so soul destroying. The DPR were fighting in 2014 and towns are shelled. They lost territory. The Ukrainian army came in and shelled them the second time. Special military operations, that's third time. So now they've got to rebuild all these cities from 2014, and especially like places like Tbilisi, which is near Horlivka, which is near Chazov Yar, and also they were destroyed in 2014, and they're having to rebuild. Look at Mariupol, places like that. It must be soul destroying.
It absolutely is, and of course the new delivery of tanks is coming, of course, from America. Now, this isn't the actual delivery. This is the tanks that were being moved for the parade. But these are the sort of weapons that are going to be sent. America has just signed off on sending a whole new batch. And of course, we'll be keeping an eye on what's going on with that, because the Americans are saying that this will be perfectly okay. It's going to help them left, right, and centre. And they're saying that, of course, Europe are paying for it. Well, Europe are not going to be able to pay for it because they don't have the money. And of course, all they're trying to do at the moment is get some sort of no-fly zone, if you like. And that's obviously what was behind the drones. So just in case you weren't aware, the whole of the drone story was to try and get the Americans so riled up, that they would say, okay, we will do a no-fly zone over the western part of Ukraine. And then, of course, they'd be able to move the drone factories in there, which are getting smashed at the moment. The whole drone story and everything else, there's still Poles out there taking the mickey out of it. In fact, it's become almost a national sport in Poland. They are absolutely going mental at their own people. Let's have a quick look, actually. Here we go.
Dron rosyjski. O kurwa.
There is literally children out there making the best drones they can, and there's even a prize of money for the person who does the best video with the most colourful drone. Lee Williams.
I was going to say, that's nothing to do with transgender out there, is it?
No, nothing at all.
No.
One of those, we'll be getting onto that in a little while as well. There is something slightly worrying as well. Mark Breckle.
The Bucha massacre's coming back to haunt Ukraine again, isn't it? Lavrov's talking about that as well.
I'm not surprised.
It's never going to go away, that, is it?
No, well, when you accuse somebody of a massacre, you have to have the important information that goes with it. And the important information that goes with it is not there. You know, they've asked for it time and time again. You know, when they're talking about massacres and things like that, you do have to be able to produce evidence. You can't just scream, you know, fire in a theatre. It doesn't work like that. And of course, that's as you say, it's coming back to bite them in the backside, because they keep the Russians are pressing everybody for, have you got any information that we can work on? We're not saying we don't believe you, but we want to see this information. Something else they're also lying about as well. They're talking once again about securing these loans, or securing the Russian asset money to cover any damage to Ukraine, and also to lend this money to Ukraine. Let me state right here and now that we know for a fact there is very little of that money left. This is a complete smokescreen. to literally let you know, try and fool you into thinking that they're borrowing that money. They're not borrowing that money. They've already had it. They've frozen it. They've pinched it. They've spent it. And the large chunk of it has already gone. Please remember, when it comes to the nonsense that Ursula von der Leyen and everybody is spinning, please remember that they've already talked about getting hold of that money, putting it into a high yield account, because obviously they've got to gamble with what's left to try and make the money back up. But when everything comes crashing down, they're going to have to turn around and go, where's our money? Where's the money? And this is what the Russians are going to go. And then Europe, of course, will not be able to pay it back, which means they're not going to get cheap gas. And they are still buying cheap gas under the table. Donald Trump is absolutely right. He's saying you've got to stop buying gas underneath. Now, von der Leyen and the European Union have refused to do what Donald Trump, yes, exactly, gamblers chasing their losses. Donald Trump asked them to stop buying any more cheap Russian oil and gas. Now, the EU, they have turned, America have said they'll impose the sanctions when they stop doing that. They haven't stopped doing it. They're still doing it because without it, they can't get the revenue that they need, of course, because they just get further and further into debt. So they're getting even more down the road with this, and it's going to cause even more problems. Something else that is a problem as well. Going into Ukrainian territory, Miritovets, now this is the Ukrainian kill list run by the SBU and NATO and various others out of Brussels, would you believe? Now, this is quite, have a look at the date of birth there, 10th of the 1st, which happens to be my birthday, 10th of January, 10th of the 1st, 2023. So a 2-year-old child has been put on this list entering Ukraine, and they are saying that a 2-year-old child was perfectly aware of going into Ukraine. Can you imagine any such madness? And of course, we thought it was such a bizarre story that we would check it out. And it happens to be completely true. It is absolutely beyond belief that you would say that a 2-year-old can be responsible for the country in which they end up in when they're traveling with their parents. Sounds absolutely crazy, but that's the way it is, I'm afraid. We've got some other stuff for you on Ukraine, and we're going to come to one or two of these bits as well, which is quite crazy. We are going to give Donald Trump, who is currently on a visit to the UK, and of course we'll have some bits and pieces on that in a short while. But we are going to give Donald Trump a massive big up because what he did, Ukraine and the rest of the West are not giving this lady any sort of, shall we say, memorial or anything. This is Irina Zarutska, who was killed by a shall we say, a career criminal in North Carolina when she was stabbed in the neck. And of course, he did put that out there to say RIP. Now, the big difference between her and literally Donald Trump and various others, she got killed, and of course George Floyd got all sorts of memorials, got 4 gold caskets and 7 months of riots. She's received almost absolutely nothing for what has happened to her or her family. And in fact, her father was not allowed to leave Ukraine to attend the funeral. Can you believe that? But it's absolute. Once again, we've checked it out. Father was not allowed to leave. Something else that is also quite unbelievable when it comes to Ukraine, the Verkhovna Rada, I think I hope I've said that right. Anyway, the Ukraine government or parliament has voted to accept the £3.6 billion that will come from the UK every year into Ukraine's coffers. Now, what's so special about that? Because obviously they did do the deal and it's for minerals and everything else. No, it isn't. This is nothing to do with the mineral deal. This is 3.6 billion every single year. Now get this, for the next 100 years. That's absolutely correct. for the next 100 years, these people are, how can I put it, able to get this money. Mark Breckle, then Andy.
Ukrainian Rada's nothing to do with us.
Nope.
They're not an EU country. They're just a country on their own.
I know.
Barking it.
It is. It sounds like absolute madness, doesn't it? But that's the way it is. Andy.
Yeah, that'll continue until our next government gets in.
Yes. I suppose we better talk about some of that, hadn't we? Let's have a little look at this.
Keir Starmer, I don't think you remember what you said. Let me remind you.
If you don't like the changes that we've made, I say the door is open and you can leave.
And you're out of here.
So Keir Starmer literally telling people that they could leave. Pretty awful. And of course, at the moment, how can I put this? Starmer's stupidity is beyond belief. He's going to be out of office at the first available opportunity, I think, because of course we have this nonsense going on now. We do have this. Have a look. Now, this is the state visit for one Donald Trump. Not everybody's happy to see Donald. Let's have a look at this. So let's get into this a little bit, because they're trying to say that a huge amount of people turned up to this. Not true. It was about 7,000 or 8,000. Now, somebody has done, when you go across the bridges in London, they do measure the footfall or the traffic that goes across there. Not only humans walking, but also the traffic that goes across, human traffic, either way, whether you're in a car or not. Now, over Westminster Bridge, over 317,000 people walked across Westminster Bridge on Saturday, and over 224,000 walked across Waterloo Bridge on Saturday. That's 500,000 people. So all those people who are saying there's only 110,000 attended or 150,000 attended, it is complete nonsense. And that is without any data from anywhere else. What we are saying is the footfall traffic going over that bridge during that march was that amount of people. Mark Breckle.
Again, all them signs are all lefty signs. Refugees are welcome here. It's the same signs what they had in London. It's the same ones that they use outside all the migrant hotels. So it's disrespectful for a visiting dignitary to have all that nonsense. They should have all been arrested.
Yeah, unbelievable, isn't it?
Thanks, Nate. New at 9, vandals burning a Loveland family sign remembering.
Oh, hang on. That's not the one. Let's try and find the right video for you here. It is quite staggering when you see what's going on and everything that's being planned. But I don't know if you knew this. The Home Office is looking for a wedding planner for illegal asylum seekers to marry these protesters.
Oh my God, this will wind you up. This will wind you up. The Home Office are now advertising a new job. Yeah. Guess what? A wedding planner. A wedding planner for illegal immigrants. Yeah. In case because apparently they got every right to marry just because they're detained or
Has Warren frozen?
Yes.
Yes.
He'll be back in a second, I should imagine.
Yeah, I think he's definitely frozen.
Yeah.
Because if he freezes, the videos normally freeze.
There you go.
Always
There we
back.
go.
There you go, buddy.
Hello there.
You
Sorry
froze up,
about
that's all.
that. We have no
That's all
idea
right.
what happened there. Of course, we have had a bit of a problem there. Let's just allow Gareth in. So very, very simply, let's go back to that because for some reason we were disconnected. We are straight back on though. Let's have a little look. That may have just been a power surge. So let's get back to that if we can. Let me try and find that video for you so we can have a look. Oh, we can't seem to find that one for a second. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Back to the Home Office wedding planner. Here we go.
oh my God, this will wind you up. This will wind you up. The Home Office are now advertising a new job. Yeah. Guess what? A wedding planner. A wedding planner for illegal immigrants. Yeah. In case because apparently they got every right to marry just because they're detained or they're in our country illegally doesn't mean they haven't got a right to get married. We have no right to stop them getting married. So we're looking for a wedding planner to aid these marriages. Is that not just a way of encouraging scam marriages, or to get a visa to stay in the country? I mean, it's like facilitating illegals to stay, isn't it? It's like saying we'll help you if you get married, which we can facilitate with our wedding planners. You can stay. Yeah? Just do as we say. We'll sort you a bride. Yeah? I mean, it might be genuine. It might be genuine love. How lovely is that? And yeah, maybe they do have a right well, not maybe, they obviously do have a right to get married, which I must admit I'm a bit shocked at. I wouldn't have thought that would have been allowed whilst you're waiting to hear whether you're going to get approval to stay in a country. You can get married, can you? Anyway, yeah, so anybody fancy being a wedding planner to help the illegals get married whilst they're...
Sean Murphy.
Well, I wonder which real lefty dreamt that one up.
Yeah, quite crazy, isn't it? Yeah, and when you sort of look at it, you go, it's not a good thing to be having here. Certainly not. I mean, many people are going to get upset. Many people somebody else put their hand up.
Yeah, that was me. What they do, looking for 9-year-old brides?
One of those, isn't it? We don't know what exactly they're looking for, but we do know that it's not good and nobody wants to see it. Andy,
is this a Lammy thing?
Sorry,
is this a David Lammy thing?
I wouldn't be surprised, would you? I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest, to be honest with you. And we're going to have a little chat about that because there is, should we say, some things going on here which are a problem, and we're going to get into some of those right now. Now you will have heard of Narinder Kaur, who is a horrible, or Kaur, who is a horrible woman, lefty and a race baiter. She said that she had a bit of a problem on British transport, or that her friend did, and of course there was a big incident on the 6:30 train. She then sent off to London, her friend in LNER, the London North East Railway. And basically what happened was they came back and said, yes, there was a problem on the 8 o'clock where a man was removed. Well, that wasn't the 6:30. Soon as everybody pointed that out, she got back to the LNER, who then made up the nonsense of a minor incident, not punching anybody like this woman said. And of course, it turned out when we spoke to the person who was actually on the train, on that particular train, working that particular train, there was no incident of any kind whatsoever, not one. So just to give you a quick update on that, and of course there was some trouble at the riot, but let's give you an absolute rundown of exactly what went on with that so-called, should we say, riots and everything else that everybody was calling it. 8 out of 26 were freedom marchers. The other 18, 70% of those people that were arrested were from the protest, the other counter-protest side. So let me say that again. Of the 26 people that were arrested, only 8 of those were freedom marchers. We're going to show you a couple of incidents that happened while it was on that freedom march, because of course people would turn around and go, well, there was trouble. Yes, there was, but very, very minimal. And in fact, the police have been taking brickbats all day for this. And of course, you will remember that they put up a load of nonsense on theirs. So let's have a little look here at this one. First of all, let's have a little look.
You can clean up a little bit. It looks like he just survived a UFC fight.
So there we are. There's a guy who looks like he's had his face rearranged. But again, you can draw your own conclusions. I'm just showing you the videos. I'm not taking sides on it. I wasn't there. I didn't see the full incident, so I don't know what has gone on there. So as I say, I'm on the fence on this one. But it doesn't look. It's not a good look. And we've got one more for you. We did show this morning, but we think it's important to show it again because, of course, this is the only real flashpoints that they're talking about.
No sound, Warren, just let you know.
So there we are. That's that little episode as well. Now, most of it passed fairly peacefully. And as we had the chance to sort of talk about this last night with James Tweedy, and of course, people sort of got the wrong end of the stick here. Literally, that was pretty much the only trouble. Now, the police did post, the Metropolitan Police had to take it down. They did post a video showing trouble from COVID, from the COVID era, from 2020, which they tried to pass off as 2025. And of course, they had to take that down very, very quickly indeed, as soon as people started pointing it out. But rather right, Narinder Kaur trying to change the 6:30 into the 8 o'clock and back again. The other thing that is really to be taken from this is when you look, there were well over 1 million people, obviously, at that mark. When you then stack that up against the Notting Hill Carnival, over 500 arrests at the Notting Hill Carnival. There were over 40 knife crime incidents and literally 18 sexual assaults. There were no sexual assaults or knife crimes whatsoever. Of the 26 arrests, 18 of them were from counter-protesters. Now, I got into this a little bit with James, who turned around and said, what are you saying, that black people are all bad? No, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is when people are called far right and all the rest of it and thugs and everything else, they are quite clearly not. And of course, that the other groups that go out for a party atmosphere or whatever have the ability to behave themselves just as well as the people who were attending the Freedom March on Saturday. And rather than be harangued by left-wing lunatics like Owen Jones and Narinder Kaur, can I just commend everybody who was on that Freedom March for the ones who behaved? There was only a small minority, and the police certainly didn't help in some of those instances, but in other instances, the police did do very well. But what I can do is commend absolutely everybody for the 99.9% of fantastic behaviour and order kept by those people attending that march. Nillis.
But even if you listen to the BBC radio news, which I do, we're still saying today that it's a violent demonstration and the police were under threat. And even in my local news, they interviewed the Devon and Cornwall Chief Constable, and he said he sent some officers there. Luckily, none of them were injured, but it was a disgrace that the police were attacked. And so there's this propaganda is going on all the time. It's blatant propaganda, and it's what the mainstream media is pouring out.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much for that. We'll have Mark Breckle, and then we'll have hopefully Steve will come on and talk to us. Mark Breckle, your thoughts?
A lot of the police I thought was heavy-handed, and there was one stage where there were some protesters actually being pushed against a building, and they were giving them a good hiding with batons, and there's horses going in. They did push them back. I did give the police a due, but I think with that sort of situation, a lot of them police would get the adrenaline was getting up, but sometimes when they were hitting people with the batons, it was a bit out of order. But the thing is, though, they never showed what the lefties was doing, so it was very, like you say, it's propaganda. They wanted to be honest with you, Warren, I've seen more trouble on the black.
Exactly.
Night out.
Yes, and of course we're looking at 18 arrests from the counter protesters, so over double. Steve, you were there. How was your experience on that day?
Police were really friendly. They were openly saying, "All right, mate," which I've never had before. And to be honest, when I was talking to them, they just didn't feel like police. They felt like just the same as us, which was, I know they are the same as us, but it was odd that it came across that way. But I noticed where there was a lot more police were around the ministries, the other side of a march, around the Ministry of Defence. There was about 50 police surrounding it at the front, keeping people away from that area. So, they weren't very hands-on on the actual gathering, which was nice. Except when they cordoned it off to stop people entering Whitehall because it was very crowded, and that's understandable.
Yeah.
You know, when more people left, a lot of people left, you know, just in and out, they let more people in. So, you know, fair's fair. It goes one way, it goes the other.
So no bother at all then. Fantastic. Thank you very much, buddy.
I didn't see any. You're
that's
welcome.
good news. That's good news. If only such things were peaceful going on. Well, we've got other stuff now we're going to move into. We might get a chance to chat to Paul. Paul Brooker should be along a bit later on. Let's have a little look at some of the things that have gone on regarding this.
A text message from Robinson which said, "Drop what you're doing. Look under my keyboard." The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, quote, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." Police.
So there we go. They have arraigned this guy, by the way. Here he is at his arraignment hearing.
Could you state your name?
Tyler James Robinson.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Robinson.
That was the only time he spoke. But of course, there have been the notes coming out. Now, I'm going to touch on this because, of course, there is all sorts of stuff coming out because of this. There have been all sorts of people saying all sorts of things. Going to get into this once and for all. And this is the last time, apart from when, of course, they get into the trial, that we might start talking about it. Now, the police, the FBI, I should say, have shared the conversations that have gone on. So once again, we know that various platforms have been lying through their teeth because they were on their servers. As you can see here, there is conversation going on. I won't go into too much of it here, but there's one bit I do want you to have a look at here. He talks about, remember how I was engraving bullets. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun just fine. I don't know. I think it was a $2,000 scope. Robinson says, delete this exchange. Robinson then says, my dad wants photos of the rifle. He says, Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique. He's calling me. I'm not answering. So one of those. So very, very simple. If that wasn't the case, if these conversations didn't take place, Granddad or Dad would be out in the media decrying the FBI as lying through their teeth. So all the nonsense you are hearing from all sorts of different people, please just disregard it. It is quite clear that what is going on here, and the people who are doing this are distracting from what the real problem is. Real problem is the agenda they are still pushing that is causing harm to all the children. And we're talking about this sort of agenda. Your body during pregnancy, the NHS at King's College Hospital. There's a female, there's a male pregnant. Really. This sort of nonsense going on in our schools, our college and our universities, this ideology being pushed, is what is causing some of these people to commit these crimes. It's that straightforward. It is that simple. Mark Breckle.
Again, I was looking online at a couple from Canada have gone to Russia because of LGB again, and they've got seven kids, and they had to go. They left Croatia because they refused to have the vaccine, but they've ended up going to Russia because of LGB.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's just have a little look at this then, because I think you're absolutely right. I believe this.
Thanks,
is the right
Nate.
one.
New at 9, vandals burning a Loveland family sign remembering the leader of Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk. Kirk was shot and killed on Wednesday during a tour event at Utah Valley University. Fox 31's Shaw Turner has more about the investigation into that burned sign. Shaw?
Yes, tonight, Loveland police telling Fox 31 that they are following up on leads in this case. Meanwhile, the family asking us not to go live in front of their home because they are frightened, concerned about their safety. And this all occurred 11:15 last night while 5 children slept inside the home.
What happened to Charlie was unspeakable. You know, everyone is destroyed over this.
So Michael and his family created a memorial along their fence to honor the slain CEO of Turning Point USA. But late Saturday night, vandals lit the display on fire.
When they burnt that fence, that fire could have went into that house and it could have really harmed somebody.
It's the rhetoric. It's what people are being fed. There's so much hate in this world, and we need to stop.
The vandals also broke the back window of the family's SUV. Neighbors have rushed to provide them with support.
I saw the damage that had done to my friend, and it ruined me.
When we quit communicating with each other, when we stopped the dialogue, and we didn't, then we just dehumanize each other.
The family spent time repainting the memorial. Now they send this message to all in the community, regardless of anyone's political affiliation.
This isn't a Republican, Democrat thing. That's not what this is about. It's to our First Amendment, our freedom of speech. Look, my shirt. Let's hug it out. Like, we don't have to have violence. We have to wake up. It's not right and left. It's not blue and red. It's bigger than all that. It's
right, left, center, however it is. We're human beings, and we need to keep the communication open. And that's what's going to make this end.
And the family telling us today that something that warmed their hearts. People from all sides of the political spectrum, conservatives, liberals, centrists, coming to their home, bringing cookies, bringing food, asking what they could do to help, and even friends setting up a GoFundMe to help cover the cost of the damaged car and also that fence. And we have a link to that at KD.
There we are. So, of course, there are people reacting to this absolutely quite stupidly. Let's have a little listen to Charlie Kirk.
Charlie, for the sake of myself, I really do appreciate the ability to debate with you, man.
I want you to think about what I asked you.
Okay, you mind if I have a hat?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Great points. I would say that I am with you for the idea of a colorblind society. I think it's a bit of a farce to say that colorblind society is something we should aspire to, but I think it's a farce to think that it doesn't exist, that race doesn't play a factor.
I totally agree.
Okay.
Yeah, you're black, but it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. It's not the most important thing. Instead, it's, are you a good person? How do you act? How do you treat other people? Are you a Christian? Like, what is your worldview? I want to get back to that. Of course, we're still going to see differences, but I want to de-emphasize them to a place where we look at each other as fellow human beings and fellow American citizens. Thank you so much,
Absolutely
man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, can I get a hat from my buddy?
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Thankfully, I was raised away from all that, 2 loving parents.
And that's the greatest thing that you are, one of the, if not the greatest. And that's my hope for every child, black, white, or Asian, to have 2 parents. That is a ticket to success. Please continue. But here's something I will encourage you to do as a Christian. Okay. Care less about people's shared racial experience and look at them instead of just as their soul as God made them. We should try to strive towards a blinder race nation, not one that talks about skin color all the time.
I agree 100%.
And I think, where's my brother up here? Where's my man? Look at him. You got to come up here. Come up here. Come up here. Come up here. Get over the gate. Come over the gate. Look at this guy here. Look at this. Yeah.
So we have had some fallout from this. And of course, there has been, shall we say, some idiots and some lunatics out talking all sorts of stuff here. This is one of them. This is a guy called Destiny Stephen Bennell, who is, shall we say, not quite too clever. Well, he's had his account suspended for hateful conduct on Twitch, which is his main source of income. You may have seen him when we showed him on Piers Morgan just the other day. Now he's had his account suspended, and of course he's straight out and bleating like crazy because this has happened to him. Here we go. For the first time, I'm genuinely scared for my own life. I've endured a lot online throughout my career, for my own health and safety, I should say. I've endured a lot online throughout my career, but never anything to this magnitude. After seeing the owner of this platform, several members of Congress, and other prominent media figures attacking me online, I'm worried now at risk for actually developing brain cancer after witnessing how effing stupid most of these people are. This is from what is clearly a deranged and warped individual. And of course, let's hope with a bit of luck that this person is off these platforms, because anybody giving him, shall we say, airspace when it comes to that, let's just get Paul Brooker is about to come and join us. Anybody getting airspace after that is talking utter nonsense. The sooner that guy's taken offline, the better, as far as I'm concerned. That's just a personal opinion. Anybody spreading the kind of hate that he is a nightmare as far as I'm concerned. As I say, that is Destiny Stephen Burnell, Mark Reckle.
Again, it's absolutely full of it on TikTok, Facebook. All these people are complaining they've lost their jobs because they've been criticised. They absolutely no right to criticise. They should keep the opinions to themselves. Why do they keep screaming on TikTok? And because they know they're going to get into trouble. It doesn't seem any. The hatred is unbelievable for such a person who's trying to do something nice and different.
Yeah, exactly that. Paul Brooker, we are joined by Paul Brooker, looking erudite as always. How are you, Paul?
Hello, Warren. I'm doing very well, very well. And I just want to build on top of what Mark Breckle just said then. And he is absolutely right. Let's not forget, if you went woke, you went broke. Businesses lost hundreds of millions of pounds or dollars. Prime example, Bud Light. Now, I think a business would be more hard hit if they left someone working for them that turned around and said they were happy someone got murdered. I mean, what is being done, in my eyes, is perfectly correct, justified, and right. Because he did no crime. He dared to have a conversation with somebody.
They don't believe the union. Is this dangerous, Paul? Have a listen to this.
To effectively create change in the world we desire. And Side Prop will argue that at times there is simply nothing else that can be required other than violent retaliation. And this is a view I wholeheartedly agree with. The view that some institutions are too broken, too regressive, too oppressive to be reformed. Like cancers of our society, they must and they should be taken down by any means necessary.
That is the head of the Oxford Union, who has not been removed, Paul. This was the guy who's celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk after debating him only a few weeks previously.
What is wrong with people? He committed no crime, Charlie Kirk. He actually did the left a favour and said, here's a platform, here's your chance. And they couldn't handle it. They got aggressive, they got shouty, they got dismissive, you name it. 100% he is not being rational in any way, shape or form. And I'm sorry, but it was right to remove him because we need to be able to hear from everybody's side and respect everybody's side, whether we like it or not. But this is where debate comes in. This is how we build societies. This is how we build a country, by everybody talking. And if one side doesn't want to talk and they want to go straight to violence, then that side is wrong all day long.
Yes. And while we're talking violence, our wonderful Home Secretary has let one of the 7/7 bombers out of jail, Paul Brooker. Shabana Mahmood has let, as I say, one of the London bombers out of jail. Haroon Rashid Aswat has been freed. Does that seem right to you? 50 odd people dead.
Do you know what?
Paul,
I would like to have the families answer this one, because if a family said, and I'm a firm believer in that the victim or the victim's family should be able to pick the sentence for the criminal. I'm a big advocate of that because they're the ones that are directly affected. And I guarantee you, none of them would say, yeah, I think he's done about right. You know, my loved one's still dead, was still blown up. You killed them just because you wanted to make a statement, not for any specific reason. There's no way he should be let out, full stop. None at all. Now, I don't know if this is a political move or what, I don't know. Because I don't know if you've covered the Sharia courts being talked about in Parliament today at all, Warren.
Unbelievable, isn't it? You can fill everybody in that on now, if you like.
Yeah, well, guess what? Oh, do you know what? I actually probably need to get some proper structure to that story. Let's just say the first talk about Sharia courts being allowed in the UK happened in Parliament. And they said, well, you know, we follow the laws of Christianity and Judaism and why shouldn't we follow the laws, follow a Sharia court? And I just sat here and I was like, this is the turning point. This is the turning point where Islam takes over the government, because it will start once and then it will start happening more and more. And I am worried that they are going to force this through while the Labour government is still in power.
Yeah.
This could be very, very worrying.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Nilus.
Well, in my opinion, London 7/7 was an Operation Gladio operation, which probably involved the deep state and the intelligence services. There are some links to the SBS being involved in training these people. And, you know, did he actually do the bombing? Was he a patsy to put up there? Or was he working for the intelligence services?
Yes.
We don't know. But you know, that explains his early release from prison.
Yeah, it is crazy that they've actually let him out. I can't believe that they've actually done that. Just to let you know, if you are watching on X, if you are watching on other areas, it is time for us to let you go. If you like what we do here, because we're going to get into some stuff that rather gets us kicked off of other platforms. So if you like what we do here, come across and see us at warrenthornton.com. But for the time being, you will be leaving us.